Well, hey there, everyone. It's Mrs. Asaro here with another First Chapter Friday. I'm really excited to bring you a unique novel, which is actually a compilation of 9 short stories to get you into the Valentine's Day mood. The book that I selected for Valentine's Day is Crush, Stories by Ellen Conford. And like I said, it is 9 different short stories, and I'm going to read the first one to you. Before we get started, though, I want to make sure that you have your First Chapter Friday sheet. It is free. I will link it in the video description. You can print out a bunch and maybe keep them in a reader's notebook, and this way you'll have something to refer to when you're ready for your next read. Okay, let's hear a little bit about Crush from the inside front cover. Okay. The Sweetheart Stomp at Cutter's Forge High School is only days away. Sitting in room 202, BJ Green considers her classmates and their chances for romance. There's weird Amy Porter and her bizarre boyfriend, Batso, gorgeous but calculating DJ Callahan and her hapless string of admirers, nerdy Robert Lamott in desperate need of a lady love and a makeover, and enigmatically handsome and enigmatically girlfriendless Alexei Grigorov, Russian exchange student extraordinaire. What BJ doesn't know is that their real Valentine's Day stories are better than anything she could imagine, and that BJ herself is in for a lovely surprise. Here are 9 stories that will make you laugh, cry, and maybe even fall in love. Okay, the first one is called Room 202, and that's the one I'll be reading to you, and as you can see, there are 9 of them. Tickets for the Sweetheart Stomp are still available at the Student Government Office, room 114, during lunch hours or half an hour before and after school. Celebrate Valentine's Day in our elegant gym, fumigated specifically for the occasion. Dance the night away to the romantic strains of Yellow Fever, everyone's favorite really loud band. Enjoy the lavish buffet of bologna roll-ups, Kool-Aid, and gourmet potato chips, the kind with ridges. Tickets are only $7 a piece, or the special bargain price of $14 a pair. BJ Green only half listened to the announcement. She didn't expect to go to the dance. No one had asked her, and she certainly wasn't bold enough to ask someone herself. The closest contact she'd had with the boy was when she'd bumped, literally, into Doug Myers at the mall just before Christmas. A girl with more social skills or a quicker wit might have used the collision to strike up a conversation. But Doug had seemed more concerned with retrieving his spilled packages than with getting to know BJ. She thought, not for the first time, what a dumb name Sweetheart Stomp was for the Valentine's Day dance. Not that she wouldn't want to go to it, but it sounded like an event where you stomped your sweetheart unconscious. But the social bigwigs at Cutter's Forge High were heavy into alliteration this year. They'd call the Halloween dance the Halloween Hoedown, even though there was no country music and it wasn't a square dance. The Thanksgiving dance was the Turkey Trot, which almost made sense since BJ knew that back in the 1920s or so, the Turkey Trot had actually been a dance step. For Christmas, they had been to the Holiday Hop, and now the dance committee had come up with the Sweetheart Stomp. BJ sighed and looked around at her classmates. Mr. Tortola's homeroom was buzzing with the excited whispers of pre-dance planning. The event was 8 days away. BJ was sure that everyone else had already found their dates, bought their outfits, arranged their evenings. There would be get-togethers before the dance and parties afterward. which would prolong the Valentine's Day festivities into the early hours of February 15th. BJ wouldn't be attending any of them. She looked across the aisle at Amy Porter. Amy was drawing hearts on the back of her cover notebook. AP plus HB. The B stood for Batso, Amy's boyfriend. His real name was Henry Batkowski. Amy and Henry probably wouldn't be going to any of the parties either. But Amy wouldn't care. She never seemed to worry about whether people liked her or not. The PA announcements droned on. BJ looked across 2 rows at Linda Sherman. She'd been going with Will Moffat. BJ wouldn't trust the girl to babysit a pet ferret, but Will was so smitten with her that he dropped 40 IQ points whenever she was around. Di Callahan was examining her eyelashes in a tiny eyeshadow compact. Her only problem would be deciding which boy to go with. She'd probably have to choose among 17 ardent candidates. Her royal blondness used up boys like Kleenex. Jamie Ferrantino, chin in her hand, was gazing dreamily at Alexei Grigorov. Alexei was a Russian exchange student who was staying with Teddy Klein for the semester. Alexei was a mystery, wrapped in an enigma. He didn't say much, but he smiled a lot, and he was very conscientious. His head was always buried in a book. He took notes compulsively, and his eyes were intent on whoever was speaking to him, as if he were trying to lip-read English. Slim, dark, handsome, forget about it, BJ ordered herself. If she couldn't talk to a boy in English, how in the world would she communicate with one in Russian? Robert Lamott, not going to the dance, not going to be anyone's Valentine, even more out of the dating loop than BJ. He'd always been a nerd. He'd never called himself anything but Robert, not Bob, Bobby, or Rob. Always Robert. And he wasn't even a smart nerd. When called on in class, he turned red and mumbled, or just shook his head and stared down at his desk. You wouldn't expect a boy like Robert to be well dressed. Not that decent clothes would make much difference. His build was slim to none. He had trouble walking and talking at the same time. Actually, he had trouble talking at all. He won't be stomping his sweetheart, BJ thought, and then felt immediately guilty for making fun of him, even if only to herself. Laurel Baker. She was going to the dance with Teddy. They were just friends, but BJ had seen them buying their tickets 2 days ago. The bell rang. Okay, settle down, Mr. Tortola said. He pulled out his roll book. Cloris Ackerman, here. Laurel Baker, here. Kate Axelrod, here. Henry Bulkowski, yo. Amy Porter grinned. BJ watched enviously as Amy drew 2 more entwined hearts on her notebook. And that is the end of the first short story of Crush. It kind of goes along in a series of short stories, but you will touch on all of the characters and get to know more about each and every one of them. So I hope you enjoyed this fun pick for February. If you have anything that you would like to see featured on my channel, make sure to drop me a comment and I'll do my best to make it happen. Until then, happy reading, and I'll see you next Friday.